Welcome back to Chase's Theater. Today, Hunter and I will be reviewing Alita, Battle Angel was directed by Robert Rodriguez, even though this has been James Cameron's passion project for like 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you knew.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. So really Avatar was made because he wanted to make Alita, but the technology wasn't really
Correct.
there yet.
And then once Avatar, took off, he had to direct the next 3 Avatars.
4 Avatars. He's directing 4 new Avatars.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very excited.
So then he just gave this to his friend Robert Rodriguez to direct.
And he still produced it.
Yeah, he did produce it.
The Rodriguez, he asked James Cameron multiple questions,
He was a very
help,
involved producer in
exactly,
the movie.
Exactly. Which definitely shows in it.
It definitely shows, you're right. You can see James Cameron in this movie.
Not physically in it, but yes. His
Yeah.
ideas in it.
You cannot see him physically, but
Yes.
metaphorically you can see him. So, Hunter, tell me the pros of Alita. What did you most like about it?
Yeah, so this movie I've been really excited. I saw the trailers. They weren't, great, but I was really excited to watch this movie. It looked like a great concept. Personally, yeah, I was really excited. Chase here was not so excited. He didn't even want to review this movie, but I convinced him to go watch it because it was definitely worth the watch. So a lot of the good stuff that I liked, the pros, is I like the CGI. You could definitely tell it was CGI, but it still looked good and realistic.
The CGI was actually some of the best CGI I've ever seen in movies.
For sure.
I didn't, once doubt that, Alita was not really there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's unrealistic. Her eyes are, really big.
Yeah.
A lot of people complained about that. It didn't bug me because she still looked real.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though her eyes were big, who cares? She looked awesome. So definitely loved the CGI. It was great.
Mm-hmm. CGI was incredible. Kudos to them.
For sure.
Thanks to Avatar, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so then the amazing battle scenes. The fight scenes.
Yep.
There's all kinds of different fight scenes, which was really cool. A lot of slow motion. Using slow motion. Changing
that's one of
camera
Robert
angles
Rodriguez's
and stuff.
moves there.
Yeah, I definitely that was awesome.
Dude, and the battle scenes and the action scenes are filmed so well. You never don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You can clearly see where Alita is, who's where, what she's doing.
It was never sometimes it's blurry in some fight scenes. You can't really tell what's happening because it's all so fast.
Yeah.
Didn't happen with this movie. So
Correct.
That was a really cool aspect of the movie.
Yes, amazing action sequences all throughout. I wasn't let down by any of the action sequences. Even the sport that they were playing, they play a sport called motorball. And
That's
sometimes when they do
another one of my
sports
pros.
in movies, it doesn't work out for me.
Yeah.
And that is another one of my pros. The motorball sequences in the movie are fantastic.
Exactly.
I love that part of it.
Another thing I really liked throughout the whole movie, when she was fighting people with weapons. She never used weapons till kind of the end part. She kind of does. But she was just punching people, and it was just really cool because she's going up with people with weapons. She's dodging all this and just punching them and kicking them. It was cool just to kind of throw it back to that kind of fighting style. So I thought that was really cool.
That is cool. I didn't even think about that. So I really liked the way the story was set up. There was a lot of mystery about who Alita was, or the whole world around them, and you kind of find out what happens through flashbacks. But yeah, it was predictable in some parts, but it didn't detract my enjoyment of it at all.
Exactly.
I still was I was still waiting to find out what would happen. I wasn't completely for sure, and I wasn't bummed when I was oh wow, they did that. That's cliche.
Yeah.
It didn't detract from it, even though some of it was predictable. I loved the way that they set up the story, and the world building is incredible.
Oh yeah.
I have not been so invested in a world in a movie since the MCU came along.
Yeah.
I love this. I want to see another one.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential in this and a lot they can build off of, which is really cool.
Yes. They did an excellent job with the lore and the world building all around.
And that they showed us a lot of the world, but they also kept some of it back, you know? So I like that. It was really cool.
Yes. Good point, man. Good point. I really liked Alita herself.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
She was a great character. Super likable by everybody.
Okay.
Super cool.
It was kind of cool because she was basically growing up in a sense towards the beginning and kind of taking everything in for the first time. Like when she ate chocolate for the first time, she was like genuinely like surprised, like, oh, this is awesome kind of thing. I thought that was kind of cool, just nice.
I agree. I liked her journey throughout.
Yeah.
She really had a great hero's journey. They did a good job with that. Not going to give any spoilers away. I'm in the minority that I really like that ending. I know that you didn't.
I disagree.
But that ending was awesome to me. We're not going to say anything, but it does set it up for a sequel.
I don't hate it. It's just one of those things that it's frustrating, but kind of a good frustrating. I don't know. It's hard to explain because
I know what you're saying. I know what he's saying. And I understand why some people would feel that way.
Yeah.
But there was so much emotion in that last 10 minutes of the movie that paid off so well for me. Like it all built up to that ending, and it was worth it.
And that's another thing about the movie is it was only like 2 hours long, but it felt really long. It felt longer than it was, just because it kind of seemed like, okay, if they could end this like at this point or end it at another point, and it just kept going on. The story kept getting better and better, and I thought that was really cool.
That is true. The story did just keep building off itself. It could have ended earlier, but instead they're like, no, we're going to take it a step further. No, we're going to take it another step further.
Yeah.
And it did. It kept getting better the farther they went with it. When it actually ended, I was bummed.
Exactly. That's why the ending.
Oh, so that's why you didn't like the ending?
Yeah, I was bummed. Like, I wanted to see more. Like, I didn't like the way it ended, but
okay.
They wanted to build it up for a sequel. I mean, that's what movies do.
If you had to end it somewhere, that's a good place to end it, though. I mean, obviously we disagree, but we're not going to get into the ending anymore. Yeah. The acting of Rosa Salazar, who plays Alita, I thought was great. Yeah. She made that character super likable. There wasn't like a scene that I didn't like her acting at all. Christoph Waltz does a good job acting too.
Oh yeah, he was a really good addition to the movie.
But a lot of the things in the story, you don't really know, like, at first you don't really understand exactly what's going on, because they kind of just thrust you into this world. But slowly it explains it as the movie goes on, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
On subsequent viewings, you'll probably understand it a lot better, of course. I will say, like you said, the marketing did nothing for me in this movie. I thought the marketing was atrocious. I knew about this movie for a while just because of James Cameron's wanting to do it. And when I saw the trailer, I was very disinterested in it. I really didn't care at all about this movie. Even the subsequent trailers didn't do anything for me. They weren't atrocious like that first one.
Yeah.
But
I think they didn't want to give away too much of the movie, but they still need to show a little bit more to get people interested in it. Yeah,
that's fine. But it's not only that, it's just that the tone and the vibes of the trailer did not match what the movie was at all to me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So guys, if you are turned off from the trailers, do not even pay attention. That is not a good indication of what this movie is. That being said, in the trailers, one thing I really didn't like was how they played off a lot of the romance between Alita and the guy character Hugo, her love interest. And I was just like, ugh, really? But in the movie, it's not one of its strong aspects at all. However, I wasn't like disgusted by it like I was in the trailers.
I agree. It wasn't the best by any means, but I don't know. It was sort of integral into the story.
It was. It was. They could have done a better job with it. And I think that it could have been really weird how there was a human character dating a robot character. But they actually played it off pretty well, I thought.
Lean into one of my cons is Hugo's character in general. I don't know. I just wasn't in love with it. I don't know.
I agree. He tried to be that pretty boy guy. I was not a fan of his character. Just the way, his personality, the way he was. It wasn't like the worst.
Yeah, it got better, I guess.
It did get better. I will say, speaking of the beginning, things seemed very rushed towards the beginning of the movie. There was a lot of just like expositional dialogue just to like get you into that world, and I hate when movies do that. That is one of my biggest cons of this movie, is there's so much exposition in the dialogue, especially within the first act. They're just basically telling Alita the way the world is, even though she somehow knows some things and somehow doesn't know other things. And it felt very rushed, like trying to tell Alita what everything was, and then not really explaining it. Oh, and you never really knew the passage of time at the beginning either.
Yeah.
It seemed sort of like the story had to have been like several days based on what certain characters would say, but it seemed like the next instant in the movie, and they didn't do a good job showing the passage of time there. They did at the very end, but not towards the beginning at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. Another con for me is they talked about like the diversification of like their, wherever they were, about how everyone came there, but they never really saw that, you never saw like the different languages. They showed it at the beginning, but then after that, like, it was never talked about. Everyone was speaking English, but at the beginning everyone was speaking different languages.
I didn't even realize that. You're completely right.
Yeah, there's like, I think what I saw was maybe 2 instances where they showed it, where there's like a sign during the motorball that had a different language. But I mean, that's all I saw. Like, you never saw anything after that.
Good call.
Yeah.
One other thing I didn't like was the tone felt a little bit inconsistent as well. Like some of it was a love story, some of it was Alita, trying to remember her past,
Find herself.
Some of it was just like these bounty hunters in the movie. It was a lot about them. So yeah, I felt like the tone was a little bit inconsistent and uneven and all over the place. But yeah, overall though, like, even though there were things I didn't like, especially the dialogue at the beginning, it didn't like detract from the movie all that much. I had such a great time watching this movie, guys. I was stunned by how much I liked Alita.
Especially, I watched it in 3D. It was really cool. And the CGI, so like the CGI on Alita was filmed in 3D, so it really made her kind of pop out, I guess. And I thought it was really cool. It's not a necessity to watch it in 3D, I would say, but it's definitely cool if you enjoy 3D movies.
I did not watch it in 3D.
I'm aware.
Yeah, because I hate 3D. So, Hunter, what would you give Alita out of 10?
I would give this 8.2.
8.2 out of 10.
Out of 10.
All right. I'm going to give it a very similar rating. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Had to one up me.
I had to actually 0.3 up you.
Yeah. Next time you're going to put your rating first.
All right, I'll put my rating first next time because
right.
for some reason Hunter wants that.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
We'll be reviewing How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World for our next review. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please go check out Alita. It's not doing super well in theaters, unfortunately, probably due to the trash marketing.
Yeah.
I don't blame people for not wanting to go see it, but I really want a sequel for this movie. It's seriously so great.
And James Cameron said he wants to make 2 more, as long as this one is good. And so, yeah. The overseas is really going to carry this movie, unfortunately, but hopefully it does a little bit better this next week.
Yeah, I hope that the foreign markets do a lot better than American markets did, which I think it will. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for our next review.